Hello everyone, this is Mr. Navratil here. I'm going to be showing you today how to create Autodesk Inventor drawing files. We are going to take a part, 3D modeled part, and we're going to create a drawing using the same program that we used to create the part itself. So to get started, you have to make sure that you have the part that you'd like to make the drawing of open. There might be a couple of them open down in these tabs, but when you go to make the drawing file, you need to have whatever it is you'd like to make the drawing of selected. So once you're here, and we're just doing the challenging pyramid, the last part that you're asked to make, we're going to come up to the eye, we're going to hit new, and then instead of picking the standard .ipt file that we normally do, which is just any generic part, we're going to come down to where it says ANSI.idw, and this is a Autodesk Inventor drawing file, and we're going to hit create. And once you wait a couple of seconds, it's going to show up with a blank canvas, so just basically a 2D piece of paper. It comes in with a default title block. We are not going to have to change anything in the title block. The only thing that we're going to have to do is put the part inside and then add some annotations. So to do that, you're going to come up to the top left and you're going to hit base. And this window is going to pop up, but if you bring your cursor outside that window and onto the piece of paper and then select where you'd like to place your front view is always going to go in the bottom left section here. So if I click there, and I'm not dragging my mouse or anything right now, I just clicked once, it's going to kind of ask you where else you'd like to place other views. And this is where that orthographic projection comes in. It's projecting it in all different directions. So this would be like a left side view, this would be the bottom, this would be the top, we have our 3D view, and then a right side. And when we do orthographic projection, we usually have the top, the isometric, and the right side view. So I'm going to go ahead and click up here. It doesn't really matter where you place it, in terms of it being close to the top or just kind of centered so that you can still add in your dimensions later. And I'm going to click the isometric view, and then I'm going to click the right side view. And once they're all clicked, you're going to right click on your mouse and hit create, and that's going to produce those drawings for you. And if you don't like where some of these were placed, if you go around the outside, there's going to be a little red dotted box. If you click and drag that, you can change where it is that view is. Now if you notice, if I change the location of the front view, it changes also the top and the side, because it has to stay in projected top and bottom and side to side for each of those. So the last thing that we have to do is we have to add in the dimensions. The drawing is nice enough to have visually, but if you were going to be able to hand this drawing over to somebody else and say, I'd like this made please, you need to add in certain dimensions, certain sizes, so that they know what to do. So to add in dimensions, we're going to come up to the top here. There's a tab that says annotate. If you click on that, it gives you a bunch of different options in terms of adding in annotations, and the one that we want obviously is the dimension. So if I click on that, just like we would in Autodesk Inventor, it's going to give you an option to make dimension lines. So if I come here and I make this dimension, hit OK, I'm going to want my overall height, so I can do that one. I'm going to want the distance between the outside and the center of that middle cut there. So I'm going to want between here and this point out, and I'm also going to want the other end here, and we can line that up with the one we just made. We don't have our overall depth yet, so I'll do that. And let's see, and we also want the distance between here, and the distance between here and here. Now it's going to take, oh, see, now I've added in an angled dimension. We don't want that, so I'm going to right click and hit OK, and then I'll hit my dimension tool again and come over and make that. It's going to take a little time to really look at the drawing and understand if you were going to make this from scratch. Like if you were going to make this on Autodesk Inventor again to make sure that you have all the dimensions that you'd need. Sometimes you miss certain ones and you have to go back in and make them again. It's just the nature. So once you have all the dimensions and you think that your drawing is all set, you can go ahead and save it. So just to the eye and then save as. I usually put things on my desktop. And you notice that it's an IDW file, which is an Autodesk Inventor drawing file. So if you wanted to, you can come in and make edits later. And I'll hit save. And it wants me to make sure that I've saved the other one. I'll hit OK. So it saves it. Now, unfortunately, this isn't the best way to print these drawing files. So to print them, we want to make the file into a PDF. And to do that, we're going to come up to the eye, and you're going to go down to where it says export. And if you click there, it gives you a bunch of different options as to what kind of file you want to make it. We want to make it a PDF. Just a warning: when you make this a PDF, you're not going to be able to edit it any further. So we'll go ahead and save it to the desktop. We'll hit save, and it looks like my Surface is going to go ahead and open it up for us once it's like that. So from here, then you can print your file. So this has been how to make drawing files in Autodesk Inventor.